The majority of the things that I've learned over the course of my life have been learned through trial and error. When I say through trial and error, I truly mean I've learned them through trial and error. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over some characteristics, some things that I believe that if you possess now or you possess at any point in the future will be a good indicator that you'll also have some success in your life. Now, the very first thing is that you're not afraid to fail. Not only fail, but fail in public for other people to see. Look, so many of us are deathly afraid of trying to achieve our goals and failing in front of family, in front of friends, in front of coworkers, that we will not try to achieve what we truly desire, all because of fear. The fear of being judged, the fear of being laughed at. Look, if you want to have any sort of success, I believe that you have to fail. Failure is how you learn, right? How are you going to learn to do something if you're just afraid to get your hands dirty? And anybody that always tells you that everything that they've done has been 100% success, I don't trust those people. Just think about it this way. If you met somebody that lost it all, they had everything, but they lost it all, and then they were able to get it back, you're going to be more willing to listen to that person because they got their hands dirty. They tried to do the thing that you want to do. They achieved it, made mistakes and lost it all, and they got it all back. I don't know about you, but I'd rather listen to somebody that has that story as opposed to someone who's never gotten their hands dirty. The second trait or characteristic is that you have an ability to block out all the noise around you. And what do I mean by that? So just like our very first example of the fear of failing in front of people that you may know, you also are going to have people that you know that are going to have an opinion about everything that you do. And if you allow yourself to be swayed by the opinions of others, you're never going to have any success. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't take helpful advice, especially if it's from someone that actually knows what they're talking about. But generally what happens is you know someone for years. They know you as one way. You're trying to do something completely different. They see you doing that. They don't understand it. So they have an opinion on why you shouldn't try to achieve something different. And I'm here to tell you that if you allow yourself to be swayed by the opinions of others, you're never going to make it and be as successful as you possibly could be. The third trait is that you have humility to understand that you don't know everything. You may have to start over and be a beginner at something. So I'm going to give you an example of what that is, right? So right now in corporate America, every word that comes out of somebody's mouth is AI. AI is taking over. AI is taking your job. AI, right? Leave a comment down below if you're tired of hearing that. But whenever that became prominent, especially in the organization where I'm at, I had to understand that that's where we were heading, and I had to adapt and understand how to harness that technology to assist me with my day-to-day role. And I worked extremely hard to understand it, all aspects of it. Now, would I consider myself an expert? Absolutely not. But I understand that that's the wave, that's where we're moving. And I was not afraid to admit that I'm a beginner in this. And I need to lock in to make sure that I can keep up with the times and where technology is headed. So if you're someone that can embrace new things and admit that you may not be an expert, I think that's a good sign for your future success. The next sign is that you embrace the boring. Now, this one took me a while. So I'll give you an example from a financial perspective of embracing the boring. So when I first started investing in the market, I got caught up in some of the trading and how to trade and, try to make 100% profit in 72 hours. You have those people that make videos that try to hype you up that you can get rich overnight. And unfortunately, I fell into that a little bit. But again, it was never anything substantial. But after I really started to understand how to build wealth through investing in the stock market, I understood that 8 to 12% return on my investment year over year, that's actually pretty good. It's boring, but it's effective. Now I look at where I started 10, 15 years ago investing in the market and where I'm at now. Back then, I never thought that I would see my account hit the numbers that they have. And that's just through boring investing. Boring is good, embrace it. The fifth characteristic, and this is one that I really had to work hard on. Now, I remember my parents used to always tell me this when I was younger, but you have the ability to have some delayed gratification. Whenever I was younger, whenever I was coming up, I was one of the most impatient people that you would ever meet in your whole life. I wanted everything now. I couldn't see the bigger picture. And early on in my career, that kind of caught up with me a little bit and caused me some problems to be able to advance as much as I probably should have, because I was unwilling to have a little bit of patience and trust the process that I had laid out for myself. It cost me a little. Again, I've learned through the mistakes that I've made over the course of my life, and that was absolutely one of them. The sixth characteristic is being able to say no, right? Throughout my 20s, anytime someone would hit me up, whether that's to go out, even though I had to be up early the next day to work or to spend money or to take a trip that I didn't need to take, I usually said yes. I was down for whatever. And one of the things that I've learned on my path to try to be successful is that you have to be able to tell people no. No, you're not loaning people money. No, you're not going to go out and drink all night like you did in your 20s. No can be one of the most powerful words in your vocabulary. Now, don't get me wrong. You're probably going to turn some people off. People are not going to look at you the same way. But being able to say no is pretty powerful. The next characteristic is being able to take ownership and accountability. Nobody is coming to save you. The things that happen in your life are not somebody else's fault. And everything that's happened to you to this point is your responsibility. I get it. We all have something in our lives that has happened to us that is probably unfortunate. But guess what? If you dwell on that, then you never will be able to understand that just because something happened in the past doesn't mean that it has to dictate your future. Look, the type of person that I am is I'm going to ask you, okay, so that happened to you. Now, what are you going to do? How are you going to overcome that to achieve your goals? And then the last characteristic is defining what success means to you. We live in a world where it's so broad that we feel like we can paint everyone with the same brush. But the fact of the matter is success to me is going to be different than what success means to you. And one of the things that you can't get caught up doing is trying to look how somebody else is doing, what they have, how they're progressing, and compare yourself to that. Because comparison is the thief of joy, right? You've heard that before. And we never know what that person did to achieve that goal that they achieved. They could have worked harder than you. They could have had it handed to them. We don't know. But the fact of the matter is that your success has to be your success and nobody else's. So what do you guys think about these things that I mentioned, that characteristics that I truly believe that if you possess, that you're going to be on the road to having some success in the future? Leave a comment down below and let me know.